Okay, in this video, Herbson teaches you about some shapes. What we have here is a rectangle. It's got four sides. Now, if we know this side's 6 and the side parallel opposite 6, and that's 4, that's 4. Now, it's very easy to find the perimeter, okay? The perimeter is simply adding the sides together. So all I do is add 6 plus 6 plus 4 plus 4, okay? And 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 4 is 16, plus 4 is 20. Okay, so the perimeter is 20. That's just adding the outsides. It's if you took a tape measure and measured around all the outside, you'd have 20 units, we'll say feet. Now the area is really easy. Area of a rectangle is simply taking the length times the width. Okay, so my length is 6. And my width is 4, and I just take 6 times 4, and that's 24. Area is the space inside of the rectangle, and that would be square units, okay? Okay, perimeter here, you got 5 here, you can have 5 there, and then 5 here. Okay, so perimeter, I just add all the length, 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, and that's going to equal 20, okay, again. And then to find the area, that's taking the length and multiplying it by the width. So the length is 5, the width's 5, so that would be 5 times 5, and that's 25. Okay, perimeter, same thing. So 14 plus 14 plus 5 plus 5, because you have 14 here and 14 there, and then 5 and 5. Okay, so I just add those together. 14 plus 14 is going to be, it's going to be 38. Okay, so 38. That's your perimeter. Then the area, you take the length multiplied by the width. So the length is 14 and the width is 5. Okay, so 14 times 5 is 70. Okay, now here, perimeter, that's 20 and that's 20. That's 7 and that's 7. Okay, so I take 20 plus 20 plus 7 plus 7. Okay, you just add the outsides. Okay, 54, and that's your perimeter. Now again, your area is taking the length, multiplying it by the width. So our length is 20. And our width is 7. Okay, so 20 times 7 is 140. Okay, now pause the video and do the 4 problems on the back. That shouldn't take you too long. You're finding the perimeter and the area. So here's where you add the sides, and then area is when you multiply the length and the width. Okay, hopefully that went well. Now find the area, okay? You're finding the area, but this time it's not a rectangle, it's a triangle. What triangle is? It's base times height, and then divided by 2, okay? It's the same thing as a rectangle where you times the sides together, but then since it's like half of a rectangle, because you compare that and that, it's like a rectangle cut in half, you're going to divide it by 2. So the base is 10, and the height we know is 5. So I need to multiply 10 by 5, and that's 50. And then I divide 50 by 2, and 50 divided by 2 is 25. Okay, so it's the same concept as that. Okay. Okay, and then the area here, base times height divided by 2. So our base is 9. Our height is 6, and I take 9 times 6, which is 54, and 54 divided by 2 is 27. Okay, base times height divided by 2. The base is 25, and our height is 14. So I take 25 times 14, and I get 350. And then I need to divide the 350 by the 2, and that's 175. Okay, base times height divided by 2. So the base is 20, and our height here is 10. So I multiply the 20 and the 10, because that's the operation. So it's 200. 200 divided by 2 then is 100. Don't worry about finding the perimeter, because you'd have to find that third side. You wouldn't be able to. Well, there's a way to, but we're not going to learn it here. Okay, pause the video and do the 4 on the back. Okay, here's what our next one says. It says find the diameter and the radius of the circle. You're going to need this for something. Now, radius is from the center to the outside of the circle. So we know the radius here is 5. Now, the diameter is all the way across the circle. So if we know that's 5, that's going to be 5 from here to here. Okay, from here to here is a distance of 5 feet or whatever. And from here to here would be 5 more feet. So we can take 5 and multiply it by 2, and that's 10. So the radius is 5 and the diameter is 10. Now here it's all the way across. So the 12 is the diameter, okay? And now the radius is, now look out up here, the radius is half the diameter. So what we do at the 12 now, instead of timesing it by 2, we divide it by 2. And that's 6. Okay, again, from just the middle to the outside is the radius, that's 7. And then my diameter is all the way across, so I find that by multiplying my 7 by 2, which is 14. Okay, 20 is the diameter. Okay, and again, the radius is the diameter cut in half, so it would be 20 divided by 2, and that's 10. From the page. I'm going to do some more of these. Okay, from the middle to the outside is the radius, and then the diameter is all the way across. So I take 7 multiplied by 2 because I'm making it longer, and that's 14. Okay, now this is all the way across. That's the diameter. To find the radius, we take our 8, but we don't multiply by 2. The radius is only halfway, okay? So I would take 8 divided by 2. That's 4. Okay, that's the radius. And to get to all the way across, we take 15 times 2. That's 30. Again, your diameter always should be longer than your radius, by twice as long. Okay, so 4 is the diameter. And to get back to the radius, instead of multiplying by 2, we do the opposite, which is divide by 2. Okay, so that's 2. Okay, pause the video and do those 4. Okay, now finding the perimeter of the circle. Now look at this bicep here. If I took a tape measure and measured my bicep, I'd wrap the tape measure around my bicep and figure out how long it is. Okay, how long the tape measure is. That is known, that is a word. It's not actually called perimeter, it's called the circumference. Okay? Now, a perimeter on like the rectangles, you just added to the sides, but I don't have any sides. Okay? I don't have any sides. So what I need to do is use a formula. It is 2 multiplied by pi. And pi is 3.14, but you're not going to write 3.14 times the radius. Well, here's a problem. I need to find what the radius is. Okay, see, 10 is the diameter. That's all the way across. So again, to get to the radius, I just need the halfway across. So I divide 10. Half of 10 would be 5. So I replace my r with 5. And then I go to my calculator and I punch in 2 times, and then there's a pi button. It's right here. It's the 4th key from the top, this pi key, then times 5. See, I don't have to do 3.14. It'll do it for me. 31.41. Okay, so the circumference is 31.41. Okay, now again, the circumference here is 2 times pi times r. Okay. Now again, the 30 is not the radius. I got to find what the r equals. Okay. So if I have the diameter, I just need the radius halfway. So I take 30 divided by 2, and that's 15. So my radius is 15. So I take 2 times the pi key times 15, 94.24, okay, is your circumference. Okay, that's the formula. Okay, now again, the circumference here, 2 times pi times the radius. I need to replace the radius, okay? That's the diameter. So I have to divide 14 by 2. It's half of 14. To find half of a number, you divide it by 2. That's 7. So I take 2 times pi times 7, and I get 43.98. Okay, now the circumference here, 2 times pi times the radius, okay? So the radius, okay, again, that's my diameter. So I need to take the diameter divided by 2, and 22 divided by 2 is 11. So the rate, or 22 divided by 2 is 11. So my radius is 11. So I take 2 times pi times 11, 69.11. Okay, and that's the distance around the circle. Okay, that's circumference. Okay, you do the pause the video, do the 4 on the back. Okay, now we're to the last part. Now we're finding the area. Area is not distance around. Area is the part inside the circle, the amount of space inside the circle. It's in square units. Now, with area, we're going to set up the same formula we used for circumference, okay? But this 2 is not going to go here. The 2 comes around, and I put a caret with the radius, okay? So it's pi times r to the second power, pi r squared. And I have my radius already. I don't need to divide that by 2 because it's not all the way across, okay? My radius is 4, okay? So I can replace my r with 4. So it's pi times 4 caret button 2, 50.26. So the area of that circle is 50.26. Okay, again, I start with the same formula I used for the circumference, but then on area I move the 2 over here, and it's now a power to the r. So I already have my radius. It's halfway across, so the radius is 10, okay? So I can just cross out my r and put 10. So pi times 10 caret 2, 314.15, okay? So again, circumference is distance around the outside. That's 2 times pi times r. When I do the area, I move the 2 over as an exponent. Okay, area, pi, or 2. Start with the 2 times pi times r. Get used to doing that. Move the 2 over so it's a power. So we have our radius. We don't need to divide it by 2. I already know it's 6. Okay. Okay, so I take pi times 6 to the power of 2, 113.09. Okay, and then my last problem, 2 times pi times r, but if it's area, the second becomes squared on the r. And the r here is 5, because we already know radius is from the center to the end of it. Okay, it's like half of all the way across. Okay, so I take pi times 5 to the power of 2, and I got 78.53. Okay, guys, that's all I have to say on that. I hope it has been informative. And do the last ones. The radius is right there for you. You don't have to divide it by 2.